especially everything gets recorded nowadays, so it's really hard to make sure you're not giving people things they've already heard. But something which I'm pretty confident I've never talked about before, when I first started reading the Quran, I was, I think, 19, and I was taking a class on Islam, and I got starting to get really interested in it. I was not Muslim at the time, and I went to the bottom floor of Georgetown Library, where all the books on Islam are, and I got Muhammad Asad's Message of the Quran hard copy out, and I sat on the floor of the between the stacks, and I just sat there reading it, and it was kind of cheesy to say this, but obviously in high school I'd seen Lawrence of Arabia, like every American had, and I remembered some of the verses. And there's a scene in Lawrence of Arabia where they're reciting the Quran, and they're all sitting there, and I remembered the verse. Have we, did we not find you an orphan and give you shelter, or did we not find you poor and enrich you? Which is from Surah Al-Duha, right? And I remember trying to go through the book to find these verses, because it was like the one thing I had to identify. And I found them, and it made me really happy. And then I got my own copy of Message of the Quran, Muhammad Asad's translation, and over the next year, over which point, at some point I became Muslim, and I wrote down, every time I saw a verse that I felt meant something to me, I would write down what it meant to me with the verse number and the date. And these papers, it would go to the front page and the back page and the front page and the back page, papers and papers and papers, probably now 10, was in the end about 10 pages till I'd read the whole Quran. And so when I got asked to present here, I thought, it'd be really interesting to go back to those pages, which were still stuck in the somewhere in the Muhammad Asad translation of the Quran I had. I took it down off the shelf, opened it up, and there was all these old pages. And it was so interesting to go back and read how I had been reacting to the Quran back then. And it was beautiful, because both I realized how much different what I think about is now, but also it actually kind of reignited these little fires of passion and interest and reflection that had been there as this 19-year-old boy had been reading this. And it was really funny, because a couple of times I wrote verses, and I wrote you, underline, 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 clearly trying to say that this applies to you. And so I looked at those, and they were really interesting, and it was the verses like, in Surah Luqman, when the person's on the boat in the ocean and it's tossing them, and then you call out to God in mukhlisan lahu ad-din, in sincere in religion, and then God saves you, brings you safely to the shore, and then minhum muqtasid. There's people who are, I don't think it was because of God saved me. It was just, the captain of the ship was really skillful, or I don't know, this is just normal to be saved. Most airlines fly, land safely, things like that. And I could see, wow, I have the same problems. So clearly one thing in my personality was the same, which is these verses applied. But I guess my advice would be, and something I should do, and which I stopped doing, but I'm going to start doing again, inshallah, is to make notes as I read the Quran, and to kind of document my interaction with it, because not only does that make, kind of give you a regimen to follow, but it also is there as an archetype, or as a kind of archive for your future self, inshallah, and then, for your kids to go back and look and see how their parents were reacting to this. And it kind of, I don't know, just builds a record of that relationship. Jazakumullah khair.